I think we should start with Scale75 paints.
All right, so we've got Scale75 here. You see the brand new rack. So brand new rack is the Fantasy and Games selection. Fantasy and Games selections are basically, the colors are a bit different because the colors are more vibrant.
Yep.
And the paint is a little bit different too, because the paint is a heavier pigment.
Yep.
So that it can go over the black basing easier, because most people will paint it black to start with, and that gives a shadow, and then you build up to your highlights. And it's also got some really bright colors, which tend to be the focus of a lot of fantasy painters, just because it's so much more vibrant. You've got this big table, and you've got these figures moving around, so nice and bright, looks really good.
And I guess the subjects normally are less realistic, so you're talking more about fantasy, so that's where you want these special colors.
Yes. The other thing too is they're a semi-gloss finish. So when you're gaming, quite often you'll be handling your figures, and if you had them totally matte, the matte would actually be coarse and they'll get dirty and they'll rub off on your fingers. Being semi-gloss, it's not totally gloss, which makes it look unrealistic, but it's got that semi-gloss finish, so it still looks good. And then you've got our range of metallics. So we had the metallics in before. That's a Metal'n'Alchemy range, and if you talk about acrylic metallics, they're the best you can get. They're so smooth. You've used a heap of them.
I have used those. And they're definitely special. I guess very fine.
Yes.
Very, very shiny, actually. Yeah. Very good finish. Really easy to brush on.
Yes.
I guess we tried recently with a flow improver, and that makes it a lot easier to actually hand brush them. Yeah. But definitely a really good finish. Yeah. And the colors, I guess we should bring them across, really.
Yeah, the colors are quite interesting, because traditionally metallics have all been, your standard sort of metallic finish. They'll be all silvers, all the way from a really light colored platinum silver down to metallic blacks, right? Yeah. But here you've got multitudes of actual different tones. So we'll get those zoomed in a bit and then focused. Let's see. Here we go.
There we go.
All right, so you can see all the ranges of all these different colors. And then non-traditional. So, and again, that works really well with fantasy painters. So you got your varieties of silvers. So you got your super white silvers, and then they progressively get darker all the way down to the gunmetal. And then there's all those different tones here too.
Quite a few different gold, kind of brass, kind of armament type colors.
Yes.
And so many shades, probably 6 or 7.
Yep.
And they're all very particular. They're not as simple to achieve as adding a little bit of white or different colors.
That's right.
Actually quite different tones.
Yes. So you'll notice that these particular metallics, you can try to mix as much as you like with your basic silver and gold, but these metallic micas in them actually colored to that.
Correct.
Okay, so that's actually got green metallic flecks in it. Yeah. Now, if you try to mix that with a silver, you'll get silver that will overpower it, or you have the gold flecks coming through.
Yeah.
So that's another advantage of these particular metallics.
It's quite interesting. I've been mixing some of those with Vallejo paints, for example, just to get very fine metallics or just slight different tones. And it's actually quite interesting. They do work.
Yep.
Because I didn't have a light blue that I really like a light blue, I mixed one of these white with a light blue, and it was actually quite a nice effect. Yeah. It was predominantly a flat kind of color, wasn't quite metallic, it had just a small kind of metallic tone, but definitely possible. Yes. However, again, they're very specifically designed colors. So there's about how many, 20 or so in the range?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. So you got all the in-between colors. So this is only a small selection. So we had these for quite a while now, and they're proven to be quite popular. We've used them ourselves. And if you want to see how they work, then we do have a tutorial as well on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Where I've painted a few things. You can see how they come up. But that's really nice. Okay, so that in conjunction with the Fantasy and Game set, and just so you have a closer look at the sort of tones you get.
Bright ones here.
So this gives you an indication of what gaming type colors are like. And you see how intense the colors are. I mean, the yellow has a semi-fluorescent look to it.
Green, bit of green already.
Without being fluorescent. Because what you'll find is if you ever painted fluoros before, fluoros are actually semi-transparent. Let's see if we can get that focused a bit better. Going the wrong way.
Wrong direction. Here we go. That's it.
All right. Let's see if I can get that right. Okay, you can see quite easily your different tones there. So mega intense pigments. You've got some crazy colors like that's goblin flesh, because obviously in fantasy you're going to be painting goblins.
Decay black.
Yep, of course. Black decays. Yep. And then there's all these funny, I guess, monster type colors, and your choices of these for all the armored type suits, and then you've got this for all the sort of skin tones and things. So really good. Really excited to have these.